Valley. So we definitely try to support the local economy and family farmer and the small farms and businesses as much as we possibly can. We have about 1,200 employees in our processing facility on West Main Street. About 100 of those hold office or management positions, the remaining within our production and grow out organizations. And as far as where we do business and where we go, we are a nationally distributed product, and our primary customers include Whole Foods Market. They have 12 regions within the United States. We have fresh, raised without antibiotic and organic programs in 8 of those, and we have frozen, further processed breaded items in all 12 of those regions. We also are the sole supplier of organic chicken for the Wegmans retailer group, which is a phenomenal customer for us, growing exponentially, which is fantastic, as well as about 100 to 120 different distribution networks across the country that service fine dining restaurants, specialty grocers, upscale butchers, and some food service accounts. The majority of our business is in the retail segment, working with the grocery stores, and that has been very much of a niche market to this point. We are seeing some expansion and some competition entering the market because it has been growing so phenomenally over the last several years. But we definitely are the leader and are looked to as the leader within that industry. And a lot of that, I think, does fall within and is a result of the area in which we operate, as well as the passion that Scott infuses within our organization. About 65 to 70% of our business is east of Mississippi, but as I said, we are nationally distributed. Primarily retail with some food service and some industrial customer accounts. I'm sure you've seen our name in the news quite a bit recently. We have several large expansion projects happening today. One is near completion on Route 22, right outside of Fredericksburg, right beside the infamous Esther's Restaurant. We're finalizing the construction build of what we call the Esther's Project. And we're hoping that to be in that facility and operating in that facility that will be doing some further processing, but more so focusing on our packaging lines and packaging innovation to support our all-natural and organic programs. We should be in that facility sometime to the mid to end of the summer. And then there's other expansion plans going on, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit further into the conversation.
And obviously you're all aware that Audrey and her firm represent some of the most significant economic expansion that's going on in our region. Obviously we're going to want to circle back and ask you why you're staying and why you're expanding, and all the quality of place types of issues that we've heard in the earlier presentations are operative here this afternoon. Tom Richey, representing LMS Commercial Real Estate, a significant developer in our area. Tom, you are on.
Thank you. Thanks very much, and thank you for having me today. Again, my name is Tom Richey. I work for a partnership made up of LMS Commercial Real Estate, which is located in Lancaster and has a pretty big portfolio of property, as well as management of third-party other properties that they don't own throughout South Central Pennsylvania, and also the Blackford Development Group, which is also located in Lancaster. Specifically, I'm working on a property, a development property called North Cornwall Commons, located in North Cornwall Township, Lebanon County. It's been talked about in the newspapers, etc., for almost 10 years. We've been in the approval process, finally through that approval process, and we're now starting some construction. A lot of it's fairly mundane sewer expansions and that sort of stuff, but we actually have started after 10 long years of trying. What is North Cornwall Commons? It's a large, multi-hundred-acre development project with some retail, some multifamily residential, hotel and restaurants directly across from the Expo Center on Cornwall. And it also will have a piece of Office Park that will tie into the Tuck Office Park, which is now at capacity. It's an interesting project. It's one that I think will bring a lot of things to Lebanon County that aren't in Lebanon County right now, especially some of the retail. Most folks in Lebanon County end up going to Harrisburg or Hershey or over to Reading for the kinds of things that we're going to bring in the project. So look towards Cornwall, Rockerty, and that side near the Expo Center over the next 2 to 3 years. You should see a fair amount of quality development taken care of. I'm an independent contractor that works for the Springwood Development Partners, made up of Blackford and LMS. My background has been commercial real estate development for over 30 years. I just left a real estate investment trust by the name of Cedar Realty Trust. You may have seen that sign in front of a number of different shopping centers throughout the South Central Pennsylvania area. So this is what I'm doing in my semi-retirement.
And obviously, it would be interesting to circle back to Tom as we talk about why it would take 10 years to pull that out of the ground, but that's perhaps for later. Kim, representing Good Samaritan Health System. Kim, we'd love to hear from you.
Sure. My name is Feeman, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Good Samaritan Hospital. We've been here for over 125 years. I've only been here a little over 20, so I don't have as much longevity, but that's the one thing that I think Good Samaritan does bring to the community. We have employees who are retiring after 47 years of service, so when people come, they stay, and time flies when you're having fun. I, for one, am hoping that Tom's development gets off the ground and running. I know we're going to talk about that later, but one of the challenges that we do have is, recruiting physicians and nurses to come to this area in order to meet the needs of our patients. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but we are one of the largest employers. I don't know with the expansion of Bell and Evans if we'll keep that title or not, but we have approximately 1,500 employees, and we have a whole gamut of healthcare services. You can pretty much get what you need here in Lebanon. If you are unfortunate enough where you need to go out of the county, we have some great nearby facilities. I, for one, did go out of the county maybe 10, 12, my daughter's 12 now, 12 years ago, and I got great care, but I missed being here in Lebanon. It just was such an impact on the family who was coming to support the patients and coming to see me. So I think we're really lucky to have such a great array of services available to the people of Lebanon County. Besides the hospital, of course, we have an integrated physician network that includes both primary care and specialty physicians. And we also have many diagnostic centers that we place throughout the county in order to make care accessible, again, to people where they live. And I think that's one of the important things that we want to make sure that we continue to do. We also have state-of-the-art technology. We recently did get a robot that our physicians our surgeons are using, general surgery and women's health centers. So that's something that we're very proud of. And patients who are leaving the area just because we didn't have a robot are now staying in the area. So we're really proud of that. We also, talking with Audrey, are looking to open our Steckbeck Cancer Center in December. We're really excited to do that, and Mr. Steckbeck has been the biggest supporter of Good Samaritan as well as this cancer center. So we'd like to thank him publicly once again for doing so.
Thank you, Kim. Kristen, of course, represents Fulton Bank, community bank that sits inside a multi-bank holding company, with which we're all familiar and very active in the Lebanon Valley and helping us out with economic development. Kristen, why don't you say more?
Sure. As he said, Fulton Financial Corporation is a multi-bank holding company. We operate in 5 states. Fulton Bank is the largest affiliate of the holding company, and it operates in 3 states. And Fulton Bank has 12 divisions. The Lebanon division, where I reside and have responsibility, I serve as the market leader for the Lebanon division, and I also head up our commercial banking team. I was talking at lunch with some folks, and he said he didn't even know that Fulton Bank was in Lebanon County. And I impressed him with the fact that little, I say small but mighty, Lebanon County provides, of the 12 divisions that we, in the 3 states that we operate in, Lebanon County provides the 3rd highest amount of direct net income to Fulton Bank. So we are small, mighty, but I also think it speaks to the robust business that actually goes on in the county, because the vast majority, probably 75 or 80% of our direct net income comes from the commercial loans and commercial lending. Our team in Lebanon of commercial bankers, we have 3 in addition to myself. They manage about a little over $500 million of outstandings. So they have very large portfolios and deal with some of the folks that are sitting up here at this table. In addition to that, we have 10 branches, and the branch folks in Lebanon handle credits or businesses that have revenues under $2 million. The commercial team handles businesses that have revenues from $2 million to companies that are well in excess of $100 million. So we really run the gamut. Fulton holds the largest market share in the county. We're at 33%. The next highest is 18%. And we have 106 employees in the county. Our division headquarters is at 555 Willow Street, and I'm very happy to say we've been in Lebanon County much longer than 30 years, but that building is going to celebrate 30 years. We're celebrating 30 years in the downtown here in 2015.
33% market share is pretty impressive. Are you looking for more?
We are always looking
I
for
thought you might be
money
looking
is
for
cheap,
more.
and yes, growth is really the name of the game today. So very much want to do business.
Thank you, Kristen. And most of you are familiar with Jeff Steckbeck, the founder and CEO of Steckbeck Engineering and Surveying. And Jeff, speak for yourself.
Thank you, Roger. First, I'd like to say that I'm happy to say that each of these 4 esteemed people's businesses are on my A client list. And I have a client list of about 1,700 private businesses, and we serve 20 municipalities in Lebanon and Lancaster and Berks counties. I was born and raised in Lebanon, and I've lived here most of my life. That's important for the success of my business, which I'll explain in a little while. I did spend 8 years after college, from 1980 through 1988 in Texas. I lived in Houston and San Antonio. Got to experience something that a rural Lebanon kid doesn't get to experience much, and that's living in a multi-million person cities, watching robust growth, living in gridlock, and recognizing that the quality of life back in Lebanon wasn't as bad as I thought it was when I went to high school. That experience in Texas was very key to me being successful here, I believe. I got to work on both the Houston Intercontinental Airport and the San Antonio Airport, as well as a 200 million gallon per day wastewater plant in Houston, which is 20 times as large as the Lebanon city's sewage treatment plant. I also got to go to the border. I handled Del Rio and Laredo, and did multiple projects in the border cities, and got a chance to experience a lot about running municipal government and how engineering works. I came back home here in 1988 and worked for Huth Engineers in Lancaster, a 150-person firm, and quickly realized after 2 years there that Lebanon was lacking a good qualified engineer. All the municipalities up here were using out-of-county firms, and out-of-county firms with people who don't live here don't have a finger on the pulse, and consequently neither the municipalities or the businesses were being served very well. So in 1990, June, I opened my business, so this is our 25th year in operation. In the course of starting out with 2 people, I grew the firm to 34 in 2007, and then when we had the economic collapse, I dropped to 18. I'm back up to 21 right now. In the course of this 25 years, serving a variety of municipal entities, authorities, boroughs, townships, I've attended, by my count now, over 3,500 public meetings. I've got to see a lot and hear a lot, and that's also part of the reason why I believe my firm's been successful. I think I'll leave it at that and get into talk about some other subjects, some of the things that I've observed.
Majority of those 3,500 meetings occurred after 6 p.m.
That's correct.
Yeah. Is that why you're looking older than your actual age?
Roger?
Watch it. It's out of fun. We haven't talked a lot about the impact of agriculture today on our Lebanon Valley community, and I think there's at least two of you, probably three, that can speak very assertively to the effect of agriculture, its growth, its effect on our economy. Audrey, obviously your firm is interwoven with the ag community, and Kristen, your bank obviously has great interest and great support for the ag community. You could talk a little bit about its effect on our economy and how we can continue to encourage the interrelationship between robust development in Lebanon Valley and coexisting with the ag community.
Yes, Fulton does have a large ag presence. We have about 1,300 ag customers. A little less than half of those probably reside in Lebanon County. A tremendous amount of mom and pop family farm type of operations. Fulton ranks #1 in the Northeast for agricultural banking, 19th in the state. And our portfolio, ag portfolio, is just over $1 billion. So with it being the largest, ag being the largest industry in the state, it's critical for us as a community bank to be engaged with our ag community. And that ag community has been very active the last number of years. From a portfolio perspective, the beef and dairy farmers comprise about 43% of our ag portfolio. Poultry comprises about 15%. With what is happening with our good friends at Bell and Evans, I think that 15% is going to be something north of that in a couple of years. 2014 was a banner year for dairy farmers everywhere and here in the Lebanon Valley. Milk prices this year have really softened, and so 2015 is projected to be more of a break-even year. But the folks in that industry are used to those ebbs and flows, and so are we as lenders. So we learned, and we have learned how to manage through that with them. But in the Lebanon Valley Division specifically, we financed a lot of the 150 contracted farmers that Audrey's talking about. The poultry world is very active and growing. We have a lot of chicken houses going up as a result of their new plant. And I'm sure a lot more that are going to continue to come online here in the next few years. Many of the independent hog and broiler operations that we deal with have gone to contract production over the last number of years due to price volatility largely. We view that as positive. It helps stabilize those farmers' cash flow, and it also enables them to be able to keep their children, adult children, on the family farms as opposed to them having to go out and find work elsewhere. In terms of real estate values for family farms, they've been relatively stable. We haven't seen the highs and lows that were experienced more or less out in the Midwest, and I think that's due to the diversity of agriculture in our region. The Northeast region also is a large grain user due to all of the livestock that we have here. Grain prices have softened right along with a lot of other commodities, and that's also a very good thing because it lowers the input costs for our folks, and it keeps prices down. And a lot of those commodities have come off of historic highs in not the too distant past. So, in terms of the growing season, 2015 is off to a very good start. Conditions have been good. I understand there's some farmers out there right now that are happy to see some rain and would appreciate seeing a little bit more rain. But a lot of our family farms actually grow some of their own crops to help supplement their feed costs. And so having a good spring and getting off to a healthy growing season is really important to a lot of those folks. What they can't grow themselves, they have to import, and that goes back to the input cost that just raises those costs. But overall, the local ag industry is very active right now and is actually very healthy. So we're very optimistic for the entire ag community in the county right now.
I can definitely speak, to that growth. I would say even through the increases in commodity prices over the last several years, and we are seeing some relief today, we are still experiencing anywhere between 15 and 25% growth, sales growth year over year, and that has been consistent over the past the years since I have been at Bell & Evans, which is, I started there in 2010. Along with that sales growth, obviously, that does help to support the ag business within the Lebanon Valley, but also within Pennsylvania. It's great that Pennsylvania is known as an agricultural state, which helps us in sourcing and pursuing grain options grown locally. It's important to us to, if we cannot get them from local farmers, to stay within Pennsylvania as much as we can. On the organic side, it's a little bit more challenging to do, but we are committed to maintaining U.S. grown organic grains and absolutely no imports from China, which if you do ever get the chance to talk with Scott, don't bring it up. Chinese grains, that is. But we are also, from the farm side, we're seeing anywhere between 40 and 50 chicken houses being built every year. We anticipate that number to at least stay the same, if not increase, as we continue our expansion plans with an additional processing facility as well as this further processing and packaging facility to increase our capacities by almost 4 times. We only see that the growth within the ag business in this area as well as through Pennsylvania will just continue to grow.
Tell us why you've made such a significant additional investment in your current location in northern Lebanon County, when clearly you could have been recruited to go many other places.
Sure. I think the most important reason and driving factor is this is where we're from and this is who we are. We're absolutely committed to doing the right things, and we have had so much success within the Lebanon Valley. If you're not familiar with Farmers Pride, it had been in business for many, many years. Scott purchased the our existing location, much smaller than it is today, from Senator Manbeck in 1984, and then purchased the Bell & Evans brand from the Bell & Evans families in 1986 and joined those. So we have a long history. Even before Scott owning the business, there's been a long history of Farmers Pride being in this area. So first and foremost, it really is who we are. Collectively, it's who this area is also. They're very passionate people and phenomenal family farmers that are in this area and help to support our business and the growth. So I think the primary reason is it really is just who we are. We have a great network here. We have a great support system in our growers, in our grain farmers, in our feed mills, etc., to really support the business. Secondarily to that, we have a phenomenal local and state governmental and other agencies that have supported our business. The Lebanon County and Lebanon County commissioners have played a key role in supporting our growth plans and implementing and helping us to put those plans in place. We've also, the Bethel Township supervisors have been key, the Northern Lebanon School District, the Lebanon Valley Economic Development Corp has been also key, the Governor's Action Committee, as well as shout out to Fulton Bank. They have been a phenomenal partner for us, and we're very proud to say that we have a conglomerate of 5 banks that are all Pennsylvania-based that are supporting all of the growth plans that we have. We didn't really necessarily talk about those a whole lot We have the Esters project, which is coming to fruition this summer. We purchased Keystone Rendering, or Keystone Protein, right off of 22 in Fredericksburg last year. Accompanied with that, over 113, 115 acres of land that will be our future development for a second processing facility. And then just this year, we purchased an additional 39 to 40 acres within that same general area where we will be building an additional hatchery, a state-of-the-world hatchery, not state of the U.S., but state-of-the-world hatchery. Scott spent at least 3 weeks in Europe along with our Vice President of Grow Out, kind of looking at what are the best things that we can do. Here nor there, obviously we have great location in correlation to highways. We have very easy access to 78, 81, 80, 95, the Turnpike. And with so much of our business being on the East Coast, we're kind of in the heart of a great transportation and logistics scenario. We do have our own trucking company and our own fleet of trucks and trailers. So it's important for us to be able to optimize the logistics as much as we possibly can. And then I would say last is just in the state of Pennsylvania and locally, we have great access and favorable energy costs. Natural gas and the infrastructure of natural gas and the proximity to Marcellus Shale has definitely provided a positive incentive for us to stay here, as well as the conversion of that natural gas to electricity. We can optimize both the natural gas and the electricity prices. And then with the Esters project expansion, it was also important for us to take a look at nitrogen costs. Sounds a little odd, but cooling and freezing systems, there's many ways that you can do that. And because of the proximity to two of the larger air gas manufacturers in the country, being in Allentown, we have a price benefit for the nitrogen for our freezing and cooling systems. So all in all, I would say that, top three outside of just our passion for the area definitely is the proximity and the ease of transportation and the access to great highway systems, the political environment, local and government, that has been absolutely key, and the energy costs.
True Lebanon Valley success story. Thank you. Tom, Kim, Jeff, would you like to add anything at all on the effect of the ag community on our overall economic vitality? Well said. Moving to the healthcare sector, Kim, obviously we're seeing a tremendous consolidation movement going on in your industry through large health systems. We're reading about it almost daily. There's an incursion of larger health systems here in Lebanon Valley. Speak to that specifically, perhaps to Good Samaritan, but more generally to the positive or less than positive effects on the importance of healthcare in Lebanon Valley.
Sure. And yes, this does not say Good Samaritan Health System. We are getting an influx of larger health systems coming to the area, and we actually started down that path about 2 years ago with the accountable care organizations that are coming to fruition. Bigger systems are looking to get enough population in order to manage them. ACOs really are physicians and hospitals and other providers working together to manage the health care of a certain defined population of Medicare patients. In order to do that, to be successful underneath that payment plan, you really need to have a very strong infrastructure in place. When I say infrastructure, I mean things like intellectual capital, things like medical records that are all integrated, your IT component, and really looking at economies of scale where you have opportunities to get better payer contracting, to be able to purchase supplies at a better rate. So in the healthcare world these days, it seems that bigger is better. And unfortunately, I don't know how that's really saving costs by bringing in a bunch of dollars into other areas when we should be taking care of our defined populations. But, it's something that competition can be good. We've all learned that from the beginning, and we just need to make sure that we're all on a level playing field. And one of